What's going on, y'all? It is a beautiful Tuesday evening here in Sacramento. I've been away for a little while with some computer difficulties that have since been resolved, and I'm super excited about that. But I've also been doing some other stuff since I haven't been able to really play games or make music. So today, the video in this channel is going to be a little bit different. Usually I do music or games or app demos, but today we're going to talk. We're going to talk about something that has gained some controversial conversation, and for me, I kind of like these conversations. I like to talk about deep stuff, and I like to dive into things and debate things, and I don't know, I get into that. Anyone who knows me well knows that I do enjoy true crime, crime investigation, that type of thing. Documentaries, I like all that stuff. And I have been getting into a new series, which I believe is on Investigation Discovery. For me, I happen to have chanced upon it on Prime Video, and it is called The Curious Case of Natalia Grace. So, real quick, we're gonna play the trailer of it. Hopefully YouTube lets me do that and doesn't pitch a fit. Earlier, I was just gonna talk and not really have a lot of video. There won't really be a lot of video in this video, but I figured I should at least have something, and so we're just gonna pull this trailer up. I was having difficulty. I'm not really good at editing videos and adding titles and that kind of thing, so I just figured, you know, my whole channel is raw and uncut and uncensored, so we're just gonna pull this up and play it. Here we go.
You're gonna get the truth. I will pre-warn you, you might not like the truth. We were in a very tight-knit family. April 26th, 2010, that's the day that we adopted Natalia. We had no idea what we were dealing with. She's not 6.
She was an adult. You could just tell. I'm like, whoa.
Natalia was told her new birthday at the orphanage in Ukraine.
She threatened to stab my sons.
I definitely didn't feel safe around Natalia.
You've adopted a kid and now they're trying to kill you. I mean, it's the stuff of a horror movie.
She tried to poison and kill my wife. One night, I opened my eyes, and Natalia is standing at the foot of the bed with a knife in her hand.
She's tiny. These stories don't make sense.
You just don't know. True Barnett's.
The prosecutors went to Ukraine
Слышишь, тут приехали молодые люди насчет твоей Наташи.
to track down Natalia's biological mother.
I'm charged with 2 counts of child neglect, is that correct?
Maybe there's more than one villain in this story. Michael accuses Christine of beating Natalia.
My mom is definitely not 100% innocent.
Bye-bye.
You lied because she told you to lie.
Yes.
It's like a Rubik's Cube. Just when you think you have it solved, you find out you don't.
We were all abused! I hate this.
Did you want to hurt them?
It's all gonna come to light.
Be very good if you just quit talking. We're in deep, deep trouble.
Well, kicking down the stairs, we said we're not going to say, right? Oh, still have my microphone on.
You got a seatbelt? Buckle up.
That's what I've been watching the last couple weeks or so. I watched this like 2 or 3 times by now, just because like there's pieces that I have to, I'm just like, wait, what? I didn't understand this, or oh, what? I missed that. So I watched this a couple times, and I have my opinions on it. If you don't know, which I totally understand if you don't, because I haven't really talked too much about myself on here, but I am totally blind, which I have talked about when I've done my game demos and stuff, but I'm also someone who is a little person, or a dwarf, depending on, you know, what your preferences are and your language stuff. Person first, PC, all that jazz. I'm cool with either of those two. But yeah, I can relate to the main, I wouldn't say character because this is a real thing, but the main person in this documentary, Natalia. I can relate to her because I am a little person as well, and I have some perspective that I feel like, you know, as people debate the merits and aspects of this situation, I have some thoughts that, you know, may not necessarily have been looked at super heavily because most people don't really know that much about little people. So I thought I would sort of dive into my perspective of this show and look at some things that stand out to me. Now, like I said, I am blind, which is mostly why I suck at video editing, and which is also why I have my handy dandy note cards, which were gonna be titles, but I'm not technical enough for that, apparently, as technical as I am, and I don't really care. I mean, I do care. I want to learn eventually, but this isn't the time for me to be trying to figure out technicalities. I want to get right to the meat of the conversation. So, let's just dive in. So if you haven't seen the show, that's the trailer. That's basically the idea of the 6-episode documentary. And if you have watched the show, you'll be able to kind of follow what I have to say. First of all, the first thing that jumped out at me, like the first go round, maybe even not the first go round, like the first couple episodes, I said, whoa, hang on a second. This is a documentary on this girl's life, and I've heard 2 different perspectives on what type of dwarfism she has. There's 200 types, so I can understand if you get it wrong, but if you're family, you should know what type of dwarfism your mom, daughter, sister, cousin has, if they know. And I've heard 2 different things by 2 different people about what type she has. She herself has told, I don't know if she says it in the documentary. I know they do say it eventually, but I don't know if she says it. But on her Dr. Phil documentary, or Dr. Phil episode, she does say what type of dwarfism she has, which is different than what her dad says she has. This is important because different types of dwarfism come with different issues and come with different challenges, different limitations, different things to look out for. And just as a basic rule, again, like, you should just know. It's kind of like saying, you know, oh, like, yo, I got married to someone and I don't even know what ethnicity they have. They might be Chinese or they might be Eastern European. I'm not entirely sure. Like, you don't do that. You ought to know. That's just a very basic thing that, for credibility's sake, you know, oh man, get it right. That's all I'm saying. Okay, I can kind of get away with that because the type of dwarfism that I have is still yet unknown. So, you know, I don't really have a hat in that ring. But if it is known, then don't be throwing around some other one just because you don't know. That's bananas. That's just bad. That's just bad. That's just not well done. I'm not saying the documentary is not well done. I'm just saying I lose a little bit of respect for the family kind of right then and there for not knowing and not being able to say on recording, on record, on TV for millions of viewers accurately what this girl has. Anyway, that's a little rant over. One of the biggest issues that this story revolves around is her age. When they adopt her, they think she's 6. And then they go to give her a bath and realize that she has pubic hair. And they start thinking that she is an adult. And they get some type of thing from a doctor that says she hasn't grown in 4 years, or grown in a couple of years. So they get a court to rule her that she's 22. Okay, this is kind of bananas too. Like, alright, I don't mean to be gross and I don't mean to like talk about, you know, personal shit, but I'm super open, so I'll talk about personal shit. I started puberty super young. I wasn't 6, but I was young. I wasn't 13 either. I wasn't 11. So, you know, you figure that out. I was growing breasts and pubic hair at a very young age. So if I did, she definitely could have. I don't know if this is typical or not. I've never really had this conversation with other friends of mine or other people that I know who are little people. That's just never come up before. But, you know, from my own personal experience, I can relate, and I can say that, yeah, I was super young when that type of stuff happened to me. So, I get it. Also, kind of going along with the age thing, it's sort of like a three-edged sword, right? Because like for me, I was small, but I was bright. So I was really small and really young, but talking like I was older. So I could kind of understand where people might get confused. You know, especially she's been adopted, she's been going to other family, bouncing around from other families in other countries. She's probably got some behavior issues. She's probably seen some things she might not have, and heard some things she shouldn't have, and dealt with some things she shouldn't have. So here's this girl who is super small, but been through some stuff, and acting a little crazy. And they think that she's older because she's acting crazy and because of the whole pubic hair thing. And I kind of, again, I sort of relate. It's a difficult situation, I think, that we as little people are in sometimes, where people don't really know our age and question our age because of our height versus our maturity. So I can kind of relate to where that would be an issue. But I think that most people should kind of be able to put the pieces together and understand what weighs out. If you listen to the documentary carefully, which unfortunately, I'm not trying to say this against anyone, but I think that many people who are fully sighted don't always listen as well as they watch. But if you listen carefully, you can tell that her voice changes. She's got, you know, they've got home videos of her as a young child, and you can hear that she's young, and then you can hear her older, and you can hear her voice change and voice age. I'm 30 years old, and like, if you think I sound like I'm 8, you can go ahead and tell me that, but I'm gonna tell you that you're crazy, because I don't think I sound like 8, and most people don't think I sound like I'm 8. So, like, if that's what you think, you do you, but I don't think so. And I think that it's probably clear to many people, if not everyone, but many people, that she does age as those pictures and recordings progress and you see different parts of the timelines of her life. Kind of to that same thing about maturity and age and all that. The likelihood of her being able to stand over them with a knife and all that, I mean, okay, I'm just gonna be realistic, right? You know, even as a fully grown little person, I'm only 3'8". She's probably only 4 something, if that. I'm not entirely sure. But she can't be any taller than 4'10", because that's the ruling of a little person, and many people with these type of conditions usually average around like 4 feet. So consider that, and consider that typical adult beds are off the ground a bit. So for me, if I go into a hotel, most beds are, if I may be so blunt, somewhere around just below titty height. And many of us don't have very good reach. So how would she be able to stand at the foot of the bed or stand over someone with a knife if over them isn't going to be that much higher and her reach isn't going to be great? I mean, come on, like, even if she were, let's just say she was all up close and in your face and shit with a knife, you might be tired and you might be half asleep, but you would probably be a lot more apt to overpower her than her to overpower you. That's just kind of kooky. And the whole thing with there's a part in there that They talk about her trying to push her adopted mom, into an electric fence. Again, the idea that she, as a child, so like, forget me as an adult, her as a child would be able to push a fully grown, average height woman into a fence, that just doesn't seem practical. Yeah, we have a lot of arm strength, some of us, because we use our arms for stuff. Yeah, I mean, I do too, but even I don't really fancy my chances of trying to do something like that. Not that I would ever try to do something like that anyway, because I'm not that type of person, but the concept of those type of allegations, come on, like, just use your logic, for real. The good thing is, you know, now I'm seeing, after watching the documentary, I did a little bit of digging and a little bit of research into what's going on now. I wasn't really sure, like, how recent this like, I know the documentary just came out, but that doesn't mean it's recent. You know, it's got to be filmed and stuff. And it was filmed mostly on the perspective of the adoptive family. So I did a little bit of digging into, you know, her current situation now. It looks like she is in a much better situation with a family who actually really cares for her. I know there's a lot of controversy on that too. Some people think that they're taking advantage of her and things like that, but you know, I've looked at the videos that she's posted and I've listened to them, and she sounds genuinely happy and genuinely grateful for everything that they've done. There's actually, where is it? Right here. There is a wish list that her and her family created, of things that she wants and needs, and hopefully if I get a little cash or maybe some donations myself, I'm gonna throw something to her from that list. Let's see, where's the link? The link is right here. So I think that what she has with her new family is very good and very healthy, despite what some people think. What I don't like, well, there's one thing I like and one thing I don't like. What I do like is that there is another season of this documentary coming out, or another sort of spin-off. I don't know if it's the same name documentary, but definitely a spin-off. And it's going to feature more of her side of the story. I'm super excited to see that. I've seen a little of her story from the Dr. Phil episode, but I'm super excited if there's like a 6-episode documentary of mostly her. Yeah, I want to see that. I'm gonna turn as soon as it gets released, I'm turning my phone on D&D and I'm binge watching that, just like I binge watch this for sure. The thing I don't like so much is I've also heard there is a fictional movie, I guess, that's supposed to be released, and it's supposed to be sort of the reverse, where, you know, oh, this evil dwarf is adopted and is gonna kill the family and shit, and like, I don't know, man, I don't like it. If she is okay with it, if Natalia has actually been able to work with them and use it to tell her story or to do something in a positive light, I'm totally here for it. It does feature one of my favorite actresses, Ellen Pompeo, who plays Meredith Grey in Grey's Anatomy, so as much as it might make me cringe, I'm probably gonna watch it just because of that. But I don't like the fact that, you know, her whole goal of coming out and speaking on Dr. Phil and having these documentaries released is to tell her story and to raise awareness and to talk about the abuse that she's been through. So I don't really like that her story is going to be potentially manipulated and sold to make money and to give people the wrong impression of adoption and of dwarfism and all that. I think it's important to create the right message and send the right information, because there's plenty of people who don't know that much about any of that, about disability, about little people, about adopting from overseas. Speaking of which, little sidebar, let me see, does this website still exist? Come on. There was a website from the Little People of America, which is the largest national organization for people with dwarfism. There was a website specifically dedicated to, oh, here it is, to adopting a person with dwarfism. So if you are interested in, you know, giving a kid a family, if the story, you know, resonates with you and you want to adopt someone with dwarfism and not do what the Barnetts did and fuck up their life, if you're interested in that, there are links to, or, you know, bios of kids and information about how to move forward with that. The link, oh, it's lpaonline.org/adoption. That makes sense. I think it used to be something else. But definitely I recommend looking into that if that's something that you're interested in. And if you're interested in just learning more about dwarfism and stuff, head over here. Like I said, this is the largest organization for people with dwarfism. I also used to have a website. I'm kind of thinking about putting some of that information back up because I know it was helpful to people. But definitely, you know, if this story resonates with you at all in any kind of way, do your research. Start learning a little bit. See how you can get involved. See what you can do. Either, you know, for Natalia and her family, there's a GoFundMe somewhere around too. Let me see, can I find it? Or, you know, donate to dwarfism organizations or adoption organizations, anti-abuse organizations. There's a lot you can do if you are so inspired by this situation. Yeah, this is it. So this is their GoFundMe. If people want to donate to that too, I definitely recommend, you know, if you're able to help this family out and this girl out, shit, I would if I could. I can't at the moment, but like, you bet if I was able to, I would definitely try to do something more than just making this video and having rants and as much as I love talking and, you know, interacting with you all. Let's see. Oh yeah, in the movie that I was just talking about. I'm curious to know you all's thoughts. Have you watched the show? What did you think of the show? A lot of people, you know, have thoughts on the parents and things like that. So yeah, I would love to know your own thoughts, your own input. As always, comments are always welcome. Subscribes, likes, shares. Think I'm crazy. Think she's crazy. Whatever. Let's have a conversation. I don't have to agree with you to talk to you. I'm very open in that way. I don't have to like what you have to say for you to be able to say what you want to say. You don't have to like what I have to say either. But that's my 2 cents on this show. And I'll be following the story, so, you know, as the second documentary comes out, or as the movie comes out, I might have my input on that too. That may or may not be a video, depending on what I decide to do. And, you know, I like doing these types of things too. So I like I said, I like talking, I like podcasting. Of course, I'll always have my gameplays and my demos and my music and things that I do up here, but this might be sort of a new component, is these sort of controversial topics. So if you have something that you want me to cover, if you want me to talk about something that has been on TV, a movie, a TV show, an issue in the news, a musical album, my thoughts on a band, my thoughts on a game, whatever. If you have something that you think might be worth me taking a look at covering, let me know that too. Like I said, I'm super open and super down for anything. This channel is raw and uncut and unedited and gonna be my sort of free-for-all for whatever I decide to discuss. So, hit the button, either button, any button, the like button, the subscribe button, the go away button, and I'll catch you next time.